I think the new generation faces a particular challenge. We're going through a massive generational change in leadership from the baby boomers to the millennials, and problems today are so intractable and so difficult that they require leaders that are comfortable working across lines between government, nonprofits, for-profit companies, and being able to collaborate and pull people together around a common sense of purpose and a common set of values. So we really love the programs of the Center for Public Leadership because they're values-based, they're focused on helping young leaders develop into great leaders. Everyone I've met in this program has incredible passion to make a difference. And I think this opportunity here gives them a time to reflect and think about, how can I use my skills, how can I focus them, where do I really want to go? Maybe I've worked in an orphanage in Chile, or maybe I've started a company, a for-profit company, maybe I've spent a few years in the military, a few years in government, but now I can do the thing that I'm going to sustain for the next 10 to 20 years. But I think the opportunity here gives them an opportunity to build that sustainability into their work.
I think that in integrative medicine, the same challenges sort of exist, that this isn't a problem that can be solved simply by the government, nor should it really. I was heartened by the number of people who showed an interest in this. It shows that it's really coming to people's attention. But one of the challenges is that of proving that a clinical approach that's holistic and looks at the whole person, not only doesn't cost more, but may in fact save money, and that's really the next challenge we have to face. And we at the hospital we're involved in Minneapolis, we're actually showing that we're saving $2,000 per patient per admission by adding integrative care to the ordinary care for things like pain and anxiety after heart transplants, that kind of thing.
Well, if you think about it, Penny's work in integrative medicine and my work in leadership really come together around the notion of thinking of whole people and taking responsibility for your own development or for your own health. And so that's what we're interested in. I mean, how can you think of healthcare as a body part or a disease, rather than thinking about it, how do people stay healthy? And we'll never get on top of cost problems until we do that. The same is true in being able to sustain leadership across decades of pressure, seduction, and all the things that pull people off course, and having the tenacity to overcome great challenges and still be successful. And it's that, if you will, a holistic approach I think we both share between both healthcare and leadership.
And our hope through the George Foundation, as well as through the Bravewell Collaborative, is that by the time these young people get to the place in midlife where they're starting to develop chronic illnesses, that they won't develop them, or they will develop them much later, and that they will be treated in a way that has as much to do with the quality of their life and their ability to maintain on their own the best life they can for as long as they have. And that's not where we are yet, but that's where we're going.
I think great leaders in the 21st century are not ones that are going to exert power over other people, but know how people can be empowered to step up and lead. It doesn't matter what age you are, whether you have any direct reports, what level you are. And I think leaders that have that capability to say, hey, you can do this, you can make a difference, you can take something on, go do it, and give that power away, if you will, by empowering people, are going to be the ones that really make a difference. And that's how you learn to lead. You got to learn early, and you have to have the experience and get out and do it. And those people will then become leaders of great organizations in the future.
If you ask the question in a different way, and you talk about it, how do you help leaders grow, from my perspective as a former consulting psychologist, a lot of it has to do with helping them understand themselves better, helping them know what their blind spots are so that other people can't use the blind spots to maneuver them, hold a mirror up when they need to have a mirror held up to see that they're not living up to their best self. And you can help them grow in that way, even if you're not in a leadership position. I mean, you can do that as a friend, you can do that as somebody in a support group, or as a psychologist, therapist even.
Crises are a fact of life. They've been with us throughout all history. They seem to be more compressed and more frequent now because our system is oscillating at such a rapid rate from up and down, and there's so much conflict in the system. I think leaders in crisis have to stay grounded within who they are and be willing to admit their mistakes and vulnerabilities. Most leaders are not. They try to be perfect. And people in my generation have breached the trust as leaders. And I think leaders today have to get that back by being confident, by being honest and open, and bringing people together to go solve really great problems. And we know we can get through crises, but we have to work together. We can't be pulling apart. And today there's a lot of pulling apart that's going on. And I think great leaders can mend people and bring them back together around a common mission, a common sense of purpose, and operating against a clear value set.
I was going to say something similar to the first part of what Bill said, and it reminds me of that first line in the Rudyard Kipling poem, To Be a Man, I think, or something like that. But if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, the idea of managing yourself and having a kind of a personal practice, because I don't think you can get it anywhere else, that keeps you on a steady course, keeps you close to your true north, keeps you treating people with kindness and respect no matter how they're treating you. I think that's a really important thing, and that's related as well to emotional intelligence. But I think most of the experts would say without some sort of personal discipline, it's very difficult to do that.